Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another How About Them Celtics video. Sam and I are here recording on Sunday, September 29th, and we are talking about Celtics practice. Last Celtics practice before their trip to Abu Dhabi was today as we're recording this. And they had some fun, played some games, played wiffle ball before the practice, got a little warmed up. Um, that was fun to see on Twitter. And then it was a pseudo family day. The kids of players, coaches, everybody sort of came in after practice was over, and they were playing some games. They played a little bit of knockout. They played Chase Emil Jefferson around the gym because it was funny. And they played Duck Duck Goose, and Joe Mazzulla and Jayson Tatum decided to get in on that action a little bit. It was just a funny day at practice for Boston.
It's incredibly funny, and it's even funnier because it's the first time that they've practiced since we all learned that Karl Towns was going to be joining the Knicks via trade. And we did the emergency section of the pod yesterday, and we determined that it certainly makes them a more serious threat. But everybody's been talking about, everyone's been like, does this make the Knicks on the same level? Does it make them their peers? Whatever. And the Celtics respond by playing Duck Duck Goose at practice, and play the first thing of practice that we saw today was all of them playing wiffle ball. I'm not mad at it. It's hilarious. I love it. I love that they did this today. But I just know that maybe they're going to get memed at some point. This video is going to be like someone quote tweets it with like Celtics in the fourth quarter tonight. It's just Tatum playing Duck Duck Goose.
Probably. It was just all the kids. Like obviously you see Deuce there in the video. I think Joe Mazzulla's kids were there. I know Xavier Tillman's kids were there. I think I'm trying to think who else. I think Al's kids were there. Josh was playing knockout. A bunch of kids of like coaches and stuff like that were also there. They were just kind of like running all over the place. If you listen to any of like the transcription audios of us doing interviews that day, it's just all screaming and kids playing in the background. So it's not exactly conducive to listening very well. But it was fun to see everybody kind of like hanging out. Joe Mazzulla was in good spirits about it. He said it was just kind of like a not like a spontaneous thing, but just like, yeah, I mean, it's Sunday. Everyone wants to be with their families. So we let them come see what their dads and moms do for work. And so they came in, they did that. And I think there was a video of, or not video, but the wiffle ball as well. Derek White talked about it. He said it's just like kind of a nice warm up, a little bit lighthearted, just kind of like having a little bit of fun before practice, which literally every single person who has described training camp so far this year has described it as the hardest training camp they've ever been a part of.
Correct.
And so getting a chance to just like mess around a little bit, play for training camp was enjoyed. Left. And he said it's because when he was a kid and he played baseball, he wasn't able to pull the ball. And so when he was a righty, it would just go to first and second base. And at that time, that just means they would have an easy throw and get him out at first. But he said his dad made him switch to lefty. So then he would hit it oppo to short and third. And at the time, the kids weren't good enough to, or had the arm strength. They didn't have the arm strength to get it to first. And Derek said once they had the arm strength to throw it to first, that was the end of my baseball career. And I wasn't playing anymore. Yeah, man. The Celtics seem wholly unconcerned with anything going on outside of Boston. And that's the way I think every Celtics fan should want it. These guys don't care. They don't care. Like Joe Mazzulla and Al Horford were asked about the Karl Anthony Towns trade. They both had similar things to say. Joe Mazzulla was like, yeah, Towns is a great player. Knicks are a great team. Like, we're focused on getting better. Al Horford said the same thing. He's like, Karl Anthony Towns is a great player. And that was sort of the end all be all. Like, there is no doubt that the Knicks are going to be a good team next year. There's no doubt that Karl Anthony Towns is a great player. He's a 3-time, 4-time All-Star. Like, all of that is true. But the Celtics got to where they are by not caring about that stuff, right? Like, they're not in it to, pinpoint every little thing that every other team in the league is doing and adjust based on that. They'll adjust their game plans. They'll adjust how they guard the Knicks. They'll adjust how they play offense against the Knicks. But, like, what are they going to do right now? What's the point of thinking about it right now? What the Celtics should be doing is focus on improving internally, making themselves better at what they do. And that's what they're doing. And regardless if they want to do it through Duck Duck Goose training or Duck Duck Deuce, as Jared Weiss said on Twitter, so be it.
Man, Just what a great day for them to just not care, not have a care in the world, have family day and enjoy the time with the kids there, man. That's nice. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense because they're going to go on this long road trip. I don't know how many of the families are going to be able to go over to Abu Dhabi with them. Like, it's probably going to be a long time away for some guys. So it's nice that they let all the families come to the training facility today. And, those guys getting to talk about Towns, I really did enjoy what Mazzulla had to say. You mentioned it. He's really just focused on his guys. And it's a very, very Joe Mazzulla thing to say, right? He couldn't care less who joined the Knicks. He's just like, well, we have practice and we have to get our plays straight. I mean, we did the segment of the pod where we were talking about Sam Hauser's comments about Mazzulla's training camp, and it's just like, yeah, there were like different colored tape on the floor. He had some of the low blocks completely taped off. Like, they were just working on spacing like crazy. Mazzulla is leaving no stone unturned when it comes to the details this year. I think he really has a clear understanding of, oh my gosh, the target is hopefully between their eyes, according to him, and these other teams are going to be bringing it each and every night. So he's got to get his guys ready to go. But overall, don't get it twisted. Jack, you mentioned it. Everybody has been saying this is a difficult training camp, and he commended his guys too. He did have a quote. I paraphrased it when I wrote about it for Celtics blog, but he just noted that the guys are competing hard from the jump, and they've all been all in on the intensity. Like, they've been bringing it. They're ready to get back to work. Like, the energy's been good. The point of this video, if you clicked on it, like, kind of angry, we're not here to be like, they shouldn't be playing wiffle ball. It's just hilarious. It's objectively the funniest possible thing for us to see on the timeline was wiffle ball in Duck Duck Goose after the Knicks make this blockbuster trade that Bill Simmons had to do an emergency pod for, and the Knicks fan base probably had a championship parade in the streets outside Madison Square Garden for.
Joe Mazzulla said, I mean, he was asked about the Karl-Anthony Towns trade specifically, and his response was, I mean, all teams have tried to make roster moves to get better. Karl-Anthony Towns is a great player.
The Celtics.
Yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns is a great player. They're a great team. We got to focus on us, and we got to get better every day. That was it.
He just said, don't care.
The way I phrased it when I wrote about it for Hardwood Houdini, and I wrote Karl-Anthony Towns trade should mean nothing to the Celtics, because right now it shouldn't. Like, what are they going to do about it right now? Like, just focus on yourself.
Opening night.
Right. Al Horford said, Carl's a great player. It's going to be good for them. He does a lot of things on the floor. That was it. We from Al Horford and Joe Mazzulla, we got a cumulative 7 sentences about the Karl-Anthony Towns trade when I directly asked about it. Like, if that doesn't tell you where the Celtics focus is, I don't know what will. You rewind back to when the Pacers traded for Pascal Siakam. Joe Mazzulla literally interrupted Bobby Manning in the middle of the questions and said, "Save yourself the rest of the question. I don't really care." They don't care. They don't care about trades around the league. They care about improving themselves. And I think last year is a pretty good example of why that works.
Hasn't Joe been downplaying something else during training camp? I feel like we've heard him say he doesn't care about man, I obviously haven't been there, but I've seen the quotes on the timeline where he's like, I simply do not care. And I don't remember what it was about. Forgive me. I've just derailed the conversation.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, that's even better, because
he doesn't care about
could have been anything. Yeah, he doesn't do a whole lot of caring, except for the people he loves, his players. He cares for them, of course. Yeah, Knicks. Woo! Karl Towns, hooray! I had somebody ask me about that today, and I just gave him I just feel like him and Randall are on that same tier, and the fit's better, but it's not like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. Like, it's just like, sure.
Karl-Anthony Towns is a great player. He's an All-NBA caliber player. I think he's better than Julius Randle, however insignificant you want to say the better is, whether they're in the same tier or not. He's definitely a better fit in New York. I mean, I think him and Jalen Brunson is a good fit together. I think people are discounting the Knicks, if anything, in the context of the trade, saying, like, is it an upgrade? Like, even if that's directly not an upgrade. Yeah, but even if, like, you don't consider that a massive upgrade, they still added Mikal Bridges. They still have OG Anunoby. They still have Josh Hart in the starting lineup. Like, they are objectively one of the best teams in the NBA heading into next season based on the roster. But they still aren't as good as the Celtics. And there are question marks.
Maybe people disagree. The spacing is undoubtedly better, and that's a
spacing's
massive
unbelievable
for Brunson.
100%. That's huge. And I, for what it's worth, I also think that, excuse me, the defense is going to be fine. I don't think Karl-Anthony Towns is going to hurt their defense as much as people make it out to be. Like you mentioned when we talked about it, he was just a part of the best defense in the NBA. I know
Sure.
he's going to be playing a slightly different role, but he's guarded bigs before. I think the defense will be fine, especially when you consider they probably have one of, if like a top 3, 2 through 3 or 2 through 4 defensive wing combo in the league with Hart, Bridges, and OG Anunoby. Like those are 3 all defensive caliber players, right? Mikal Bridges was second in DPOY voting. OG Anunoby is a multi-time all defensive player. Like they'll be fine. But again, on paper, at least in my opinion, still not as good as the Celtics. And the Celtics don't seem to care about the Knicks right now. And they shouldn't care about any team but the Celtics.
Duck Goose in relation to
Duck Goose. Let us know what you guys thought of training camp and their games and everything they've been doing. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics, and all that. Sam, take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Like Jack said, make sure you leave a like, comment, tell us what you think of Duck Goose, tell us what you think of the Towns trade, and make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. You don't want to miss any of our daily uploads, new pods, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps will be back starting this week, the morning after each game, and then other videos in between like this one to keep you busy as you wait. We're also on Spotify and Apple, so if you're more into the audio stuff, all pods and recaps are there for you. Follow us. They'll go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You know you got something to say. Be part of the show. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on. Taco.